So I created like this job interview guide. First, would start with just resume tips. So for me, at least, when I was ever evaluating resumes, I would only want one page. So I think it's big that you don't overdo it with like 2 or 3 pages, and someone's basically using it as a barometer to say, if I can't figure out in 10 seconds whether I should hire this person, there are these filters that anyone who's looking at a resume goes through, and they'll say, okay, done. I can't do 2 pages.
Yeah.
So I think that's how some people think.
Even when I talk to recruiters, they're like, you can give me the 2-page resume, but when I'm skimming, I'm just looking at the first 3/4 of the first page, and then that's it.
Exactly. You'd always want to include quantifiable numbers if you can, of how you change the business. So I would always focus on how you change the organization.
Yeah.
And then always write a cover letter. And so some people may not think that it's absolutely essential to write a cover letter. It is. And what I would say is with a cover letter is use the company's About Me page as a guide for your cover letter. And what you want to do is use either their mission statement or their values or something on their About Me page, and then tie that in to 3 different specific examples in your life of how you've lived either that mission or those values.
Okay. So if the company values honesty, customer service, and innovation, then those would be like 3 things that you can give examples of from your own experience, and then tie that into that company's mission. Oh, I like that.
And I would do that in bullet points too, because the easier it is to just kind of like pick up on that and say, well, this person realizes what we're about.
Right.
Every company wants to understand how you're going to fit in their culture, and that is the toughest thing to determine based on just a resume. I have 2 other tips.
Yes,
It's a long
keep on going.
Okay, so another one would be proximity. So use proximity to your advantage. Now, what do I mean by that? In short, you should always be building relationships before you need them for a job search. So this is more of like a life lesson, but sometimes we forget to intentionally just be building new relationships.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of your comfort zone and always be meeting people, but it's absolutely crucial that you do it on a consistent basis so that when the time comes that you are looking for a job, you have people to reach out to, you have a network. And traditional job applications have really gone away in a large way. Like you stand a much better chance with a good network to find a job or a position that you want.
For sure. I want to ask the lady, what's your greatest struggle or challenge right now in your job search? And she says, well, to be honest, one of my biggest regret is that I neglected my network because I was busy meeting company deadlines and, just at work all the time following their objectives. And then now that I'm without a job, I have to totally rebuild my network. So,
and that's not a good time to start doing it, right?
Right.
You need it.
Yes. It's much better to build from a comfortable position than a uncomfortable position.
And then you're actually building authenticity into it. You don't have anything that you have to ask from the person.
Right.
So it's a natural relationship.
Yes.
And the last thing would be, I really urge people to keep a list of 3 different things. So this is an ongoing list in your life. Like you should just have this in a notes in your iPhone or in a document on Google Drive. A list of weaknesses and failures that you have turned into strengths and lessons. So this is just a very specific list, like failure, strength, weakness, and you have all these things tied in together, right? Because what you want to be able to do at any moment is tell a story about how you failed at one point and then turned it into a lesson, or you want to have an ability to tell someone at any point what your weakness is, but how you make it your strength. So an example for me, I've had, that question in interviews, like, what are you bad at?
Right.
I have no sense of direction. I could walk outside of the building that I'm in right now. I can get lost within a 3 block radius. It's embarrassing. But what I will tell, a job interview person who's asking me that, say, that might be the case, but what I do is I make sure that I'm at a meeting 30 minutes or an hour early.
Right.
So that I know where the location is. And then I either find the local coffee shop or I work in my car until it's time to go in. So it becomes a strength because I'm always early.
Yes.
And then keep a list of your awards, your achievements, and your accomplishments. So big and small. So a lot of us think that like little wins, little achievements are not things to be celebrated, but they are because they're part of the process.
So it's almost like a continual maintenance, right?
Yes.
So even when we're in our best place and most comfortable place, keep on keeping track of these notes and these items so that if we're ever in a place of uncertainty and no job, then that's already there. That database of information is already there. That list is already there. Right.
And Fanny, would you say that more often than not that time does happen eventually, no matter what?
For sure.
It's part of life. So
it is, especially nowadays. Especially nowadays, because even I'm meeting more and more job seekers that have been in the same company for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And so they've worked their way up to a very experienced level, a senior level. And now it's like after 15 years of never having had to prepare a resume or go for an interview, and they they're a director or a VP, it's very unsettling. But if there's that kind of information that, keeping track and keeping notes for ourselves along the way, then it's like a nice safety net.
Yeah, and I think, even the last one would be just keep a list of all the jobs that you've had and the communities you've been a part of and the hobbies that you have.
Yeah.
So you kind of keep these 3 lists, and they're actually all in that document, the guide that I was telling you about. So it kind of prompts you to have those.
So what's the best way for people to reach out to you or to kind of get connected with you? I mean, I guess LinkedIn, right? Or other ways. Do you have a website?
My website is a great place, negotiablereality.com.